Hello everyone, I'm Niels from BedTime Digital Games, and our game Figment is out today. And it's an action-adventure game, which is also a musical.
But I know I will see you again.
I know your game Figment, at first glance, it looks like maybe even a bit of a kid's game, but underneath it all, you are trying to tackle some very delicate topics. So how did you go about trying to tackle these topics? Why did you want this to be around those topics?
Yeah, the game definitely deals with some deeper emotional things, and it's definitely also a personal thing. Like a lot of the things that we deal with are things that we can also kind of relate to as the people on the team. Not one specific guy, but we took in the personal kind of influences from everyone and tried to kind of put that in, because the game deals with the mind of a person, and this mind is kind of maybe a collected mind of the people who are involved in creating the game. So yeah, definitely something that came from us and is personal.
That's actually interesting hearing that, because I was reading some reviews on your game, and some people were like, we don't know whose mind this is. They were wondering if there was a bigger conspiracy that this is actually the mind of the character you're playing, Dusty, or if it's someone else. But you're saying it's more of a generic overview of the mind of the developer.
Not necessarily. We definitely have a character that this is placed inside of, and throughout the game you also unlock this guy's backstory and how did he end up in the situation he is in now. So it's definitely character. What I mean was just it's his character traits are collected. The team's collected character traits, you can say. But yeah, there's definitely character there you're inside, and it's pretty defined who he is and how he came to be the person that he is, and also what kind of caused the trauma that he's experiencing in the game. But yeah, at the same time, these characters that are inside his mind are also a different set of characters, and they also have their own character arcs and their own story that plays out throughout the game.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because a lot of games, when they try and show topics like these, will be very serious, maybe a bit more on the darker side, but you've chosen to go very innocent, very kind of playful and uplifting. Why did you choose to develop a game like this?
Yeah, I think that's part of who we are. Also, we like telling jokes, and we like doing all these things, and we like drawing colorful drawings and all these kind of things, and doing crazy music. So it's kind of natural to kind of go about it that way, but I don't necessarily see that there's a problem that people can be both fun and serious at the same time, and social games. I think maybe it's a little easier actually to get these things across when you kind of choose something a little lighthearted, or choose something that's when you put it inside this kind of surreal world. People don't have any predetermined things they if a person you see and you immediately get some ideas about who this person is, or what this person is all about. But we put it somewhere where you don't have any predefined things to think about these characters, so that way we can come across with these things, I guess, in a way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. So yeah, it's so uplifting, so upbeat that even though it's quite a difficult topic maybe to touch on, it's easier to digest as a player.
Yeah, something like that, yeah, definitely.
And enjoy, yeah. And I love how you say that as a company, that's who you are. You're very big, colourful, and you like crazy music and things like that. So, I mean, the music is a massive part of the game. Every review that I have seen has talked about how unique it is, how every boss has their own song, but also throughout the game, just hitting random objects, you can kind of add to the music around, which is really great. So why do you think the music was so pivotal? What do you think it brings to the game?
Well, at least from the beginning of the game, we wanted something that was kind of we wanted this painting that you can explore, and then at one point it's we need to add something more to this. So it's we just figured it'd be cool to try out what about if the characters sing to each other? I really hate musicals, but it's it could be really fun to try to make one. So it's just let's try that, and we tried it, and I voice acted. I did the music, right? So I voice acted one of the guys and tried this kind of guy, and it's just that's pretty fun. Let's try it and go for it.
From my fever dream, your blood is boiling, your headache split, you lose your lunch and smell something nasty.
And then from there, it took the idea of the whole world should kind of play along and sing along to you as you play. So you walk past an object and it'll have its own melody that plays along with the background music. So the whole world kind of becomes this musical thing, even though not everything sing, obviously, but in a way it all had its musical take on what it is. And yeah.
So in the game, I know there's lots of different islands, and I guess they're representing different parts of the player's mind, right, in the game. Does music help to differentiate between maybe different moods or personality types or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Without getting too technical, like it's like, for example, in the like the creative part of mine, the music is very floating and uses like different time signatures, and it's like a little more, yeah, like floaty, and has these like shaking eggs and have like woodwind instruments and things like that. Whereas in the like the logical part of mine is more like chunk, chunk, chunk. Everything goes like in a beat and like the perfect beat of 4/4, and has like a rhythm that you can like set your clock to. You know what I mean? Like, so we definitely try to make the music also just like the visuals also kind of tell where you are and make everything work that way. Yeah.
That's very cool. It sounds like you put a lot of extra hard work and time into it just to make sure that the music was in time with the gameplay and the movements and everything else. So since it's been released yesterday, how has the feedback been? What have people been saying about your game?
Well, I haven't had that much time actually to look at it, but what I heard, it's been pretty good, yeah, and people like how it looks and how it sounds and how it plays. I mostly know from the guys that I work with who are at home in Denmark, and they all say it's been pretty good, and I'm also very happy how it turned out, so can't complain, I guess.
That's great. And just tell me a bit about how yesterday was, how it was kind of releasing the game and getting your guitar out and having a bit of a sing-song.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, in this is a very big room, and there's a lot of noise, and just bring my guitar out and just started screaming at people, and it was really like created some cool mood, I think, and we popped the champagne, and there was big like relief, and everyone was happy, so that was pretty cool, yeah.
Every time someone plays the game, when you were developing it, what did you want the players to take away from playing your game? As you can see, I got immersed so much that you had to drag me away. So if I'd played until the end, what would you want me to take away from your game?
I mean, it's like you say, it deals with some slightly darker topics also, but I think it's inside the mind and explores like these kind of ideas about who you are and what makes you who you are and these things. And I think that maybe if people, I hope they will at least like think a little bit about where they are in their lives and where they want to go, or maybe like how can they be the persons they want to be, maybe.
Oh, that's lovely, that's lovely. And a question I want to ask everyone today is, I'm studying games development, so very much still a student. If you could give one piece of advice to a student or someone trying to get into the games industry, what piece of advice would you give?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, like obviously play a lot of games, but also just like start yourself. Like that's the way I've been about. Like if you want to do games, then do games. You don't need like a degree, or you don't need to like know certain people or anything. I think just start in your basement or whatever, and just start programming, start drawing, start like have ideas, make it yourself. I think that's the way to go about it. That's the only way you get good at it. It's like practice.
Just do it.
Yeah, have fun, DIY, you know.
That's great advice, thank you very much.
The game's out on Steam, where you can get it for Mac and PC and Linux right now, and it'll be out on consoles later this year, hopefully. And you can follow us on Twitter on BedTime DG.
Thank you very much. That was a great interview. Thanks.